Revealed, millionaire disguised as taxi driver takes his own wife on an amazing journey. What happens next will leave you speechless. Jack turned the key in the ignition of his well-worn taxi, a familiar rumble vibrating through him. The autumn sun pierced through the city's towering skyline, casting golden rays upon the busy streets of Chicago. Little did his passengers know that this cheerful driver, with a warm smile and a knack for navigating the city's chaotic rush, was harboring a secret far richer than any fleet of taxis. Beneath the humble exterior beat the heart of a millionaire, a fact he had buried deep to embrace a world that often felt low for those of humble means. This morning felt different. Jack glanced at Sarah, his wife, who sat in the passenger seat quietly scrolling through her phone, the strain of daily life evident in the furrow of her brow. His heart ached to see her that way, weighed down by the pressures of city living, struggling to see the glimmers of joy hidden amid the grind. Today, he had a plan. Ready for an adventure? Jack asked, turning to her with feigned enthusiasm. Her eyes flickered up, curiosity peeking through the fog of her routine. An adventure? In a cab? Are we going somewhere specific? Just trust me, he replied, a smile barely containing the excitement bubbling beneath his calm facade. He put the taxi in gear, and with a swift turn, they were off, leaving behind the familiar stretches of their daily life. As they zipped through the city, the streets unfolded like a vibrant tapestry rich with stories. They stopped at a corner cafe, where the sweet aroma of coffee mixed with laughter spilled out onto the sidewalk. An elderly veteran caught Jack's eye, animatedly recounting tales of valor to a small circle of friends. Jack slowed down, letting Sarah soak in the joy radiating from the group. "That's beautiful," she murmured, captivated by the camaraderie. "Yeah," Jack replied, swallowing back emotions. Moments like that always reminded him of the connections forged in the fabric of everyday life. The ride continued, and as they traversed different neighborhoods, they met a courageous single mother determined to provide for her kids despite the odds. The energy pulsed around them, and Sarah felt a butterfly stir inside her. It couldn't just be the stories, it was the reality of struggle that struck a chord. "Sometimes it feels like everyone else is winning while we just survive," she confessed softly, unconsciously searching the back seat for reassurance. Jack's heart tightened as he hid behind his smile. Yes, they lived a modest life, but he had plans to transcend that after this moment. The taxi broke down unexpectedly, jolting them back to reality. Just perfect, Jack thought, trying to mask the tension that churned within him. But then, a flicker of inspiration hit. He spotted another driver, stranded with a flat tire. Without a moment's hesitation, he jumped out to lend a hand, igniting an unexpected warmth among strangers witnessing the act of kindness. Sarah watched him, her admiration swelling deeply as she realized this was the man she fell in love with. It was raw, it was real. Yet, unbeknownst to her, Jack was still concealing a colossal piece of himself, a dark cloud hanging over their perfect day. Before we continue, I need to let you know about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, hit that bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can drop a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, let me know in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now let's continue. As they resumed their ride, feeling lighter but filled with unspoken tension, Sarah turned to Jack, her heart racing. What if we're meant for more than just surviving? What does that even look like? He kept his gaze steady on the road ahead, knowing they were just moments away from a revelation that could change everything. They cruised on, a spark igniting between them, both hovering on the brink of understanding that a hidden world lay just beneath the surface of their shared lives. An exploratory journey for both their hearts was unfolding, leaving a cacophony of anticipation and dread hanging in the air. Jack felt the tension in the air, a weight that clung to them like fog. Every turn of the steering wheel seemed to guide them not just through the streets, but through uncharted territory of their relationship. Unspoken words filled the space between them, unruly thoughts that begged for release. "Okay," he breathed, his voice almost a whisper, let's make a quick stop. He pulled over in front of a vibrant park filled with laughter and sunlight. Children chased each other while dogs barked joyfully at their owners. It was a stark contrast to their lives. The ordinary seemed extraordinary here. "What are we doing?" Sarah asked, uncertainty clouding her eyes. "Just follow me." He stepped out, the crisp air swirling around him, invigorating and frightening at once. Sarah hesitated but eventually joined him as the sun warmed their skin. They walked side by side, the crunch of leaves beneath their feet. Jack pointed towards a small gathering. A community group had set up a booth for a local fundraiser, and the energy was electric, laughter and chatter merging into one. They approached, and Sarah's eyes twinkled as she saw handmade crafts and baked goods on display. "Look at that!" she exclaimed, pointing at a quirky garden gnome painted in bright colors. Jack chuckled, his heart swelling at her excitement. This was what he had hoped for. Today was about rediscovery, about reconnecting. "Let's get one," Jack suggested, allowing himself a moment of indulgence. As they moved through the crowd, Sarah's laughter rang like music, and Jack couldn't help but smile. It felt as if they were stepping back into the innocence of their early days together, before the weight of adult life shifted their perspectives. Amidst the cheerful chaos, Jack noticed a little girl with bright blue ribbons in her hair shyly hiding behind her mother. Her hand clutched a small toy, and she was too timid to approach the booth. His heart thudded. "Hey, Sarah, I'll be right back," he said, feeling an urge to connect with that child. He walked over to the little girl, crouching to meet her eye level. "Hey there, what's your name?" "Lily," she whispered, eyes darting towards her mother for reassurance. "Lily. Those ribbons are amazing. Do you want to come with me to get a treat?" Jack beckoned with a warm smile. Her mother looked surprised but nodded after a moment. Jack led Lily over to Sarah, who knelt down beside the girl. There was something sweetly innocent about the moment, a fleeting reminder of simpler days. "Do you like cookies?" Sarah asked, her eyes lighting up. Lily nodded enthusiastically, and they made their way to the table filled with confections. As Jack lifted a cookie from the tray, he felt the weight of his own secret tightening around him. He turned away, longing to cherish this moment but also battling the storm brewing within. When he returned to Sarah and Lily, he couldn't shake the feeling that today was a pivotal point. "Lily, this one's for you," he said, offering the cookie. Watching her face brighten. As they continued to be swept along in the day's delight, Jack started to wonder if he could ever truly share his secret with Sarah. Could he be both this man, the one who could give joy, and the one who had more to reveal? "Jack." Sarah's voice pulled him back. "What are you thinking?" Her gaze pierced through his facade. How could he possibly explain the layers of his life? In that moment, he knew he stood at a crossroads. They could go home and return to their routine, or he could risk it all and tell her the truth. His heart raced as he weighed the consequences of each path. "What if I have something to share, something big?" he ventured, hoping the spark ignited in her expression would remain there no matter what came next. The air shifted, and he felt electricity crackle between them. Jack waited, his heart pounding, as Sarah's eyes widened, drawn into the depths of a secret he'd held close for far too long. What would she say when the truth unfolded, and would it shatter the moment or weave them closer than ever? Jack's words hung in the air like a balloon filled with too much air, ready to pop. He could see Sarah's mind racing, her expression a mix of intrigue and concern. "What do you mean, something big?" she asked, her voice barely above a whisper. Jack's stomach nodded as he realized this was it. There was no backing down now. The laughter and joy around them faded into a muted backdrop, and all he could focus on was Sarah's earnest gaze. He swallowed hard, the weight of his secret pressing down like a heavy stone. "I've been keeping something from you. I haven't been honest about who I really am." "Who you are?" Sarah's brow furrowed in confusion. "What do you mean?" "You're Jack." "My Jack?" "No, I mean it's more complicated than that." He took a step closer, the moment was charged. I'm not just a taxi driver. The words were right there, hovering on the edge of his lips. There was a hint of betrayal in his heart, a level of vulnerability that made him want to recoil. Still, he pressed on. I'm a millionaire. Part of a family that runs a big tech company. Sarah blinked, her expression a mix of disbelief and hurt. You're joking, right? This isn't funny, Jack. It's the truth. I left that life behind because I needed to breathe, to find what really matters to me. And that's you. The urgency in his voice surged as he continued. I wanted to experience life without all the possessions and expectations. I wanted us to build something real. But I didn't think you didn't think what? She interrupted, her voice trembling. You didn't think I deserved to know. I was trying to protect you, Jack said, his heart tightening at the hurt he could see creeping into her eyes. I thought you'd love me less if you knew. That maybe you'd only want me for my money. A silence settled between them, thick and uncomfortable. Around them, the park continued its normal rhythm. Children laughed, families picnicked, and the sun cast a glow that seemed to mock their troubles. Sarah turned away, her hands trembling slightly as she wrapped her arms around herself, as if to shield from an invisible blow. So all this time, I've only known part of you. The part you wanted to show me. I wanted to be the person you see now, not just a wealthy stranger. I wanted us to fall in love again in a way that felt genuine. Jack stepped forward, reaching for her hand, but she drew back. Please, just let me explain for how long. She shot back, her voice coming out sharper than she intended. How long do you plan on hiding? What else don't I know? Each question was a dagger, piercing the heart of his carefully constructed wall. I don't know, he finally admitted, his voice cracking. I guess I hoped it would just stay simple. That we could pretend for a little while longer. A tear sparkled in her eye, and Jack felt his chest constrict painfully. Pretend? Is that all this has been? A game? No. He stepped closer again, desperation filling the spaces between them. I love you, and I want to share everything with you now, but I didn't want to lose you before what, Jack? Sarah's tone softened slightly, but the hurt was still there lurking just beneath. Before you revealed the truth? Yes, before I ruined everything, he said, feeling the weight of his decision crashing down. I didn't want to risk you walking away, and now I can't bear the thought of losing you over this. Jack, she began, taking a small breath, but the words seemed to hover on the edge. Would it be enough for her to understand? His heart raced as he took her hands, hoping to feel her warmth once more. If they weren't careful, today was slipping away, and with it, the chance to rebuild. Just tell me you still want me in your life, he pleaded, searching her face for any sign of hope, any flicker that this moment could transform them, but the answer hung heavy in the air, the future uncertain. Jack prepared himself for whatever came next, as they both faced the truth that lay ahead. What was left unsaid lingered like an unfinished song, striking a chord that begged for resolution. Would Sarah decide to walk away, or could they forge a new path together from the ashes of his revelation? The moment stretched, and Jack knew the answer had the power to change everything. Jack held his breath, caught in the moment, waiting for a sign, a smile, anything that might indicate how Sarah felt. The tension wrapped around them like a thick fog. He could see the conflict in her eyes, the love, the confusion, the betrayal, all swirling like a storm. I don't know, Jack, she finally said, her voice barely a whisper. You say you love me, but how can I believe that now? You've built a whole life based on secrets. His heart sank at her words. I wanted to tell you. It was never about lying. I thought if I could just be someone else for a while, then you would love me for who I really am, not the money or the reputation. Who are you really? She asked, shaking her head. I'm scared of who you are, Jack. This is so much it's me. It's still me, he insisted. I'm the guy who laughs at your silly jokes, the one who shares fries at the diner. That hasn't changed. That part of me is real. Sarah turned away again, her gaze lost amongst the kids playing in the park. But who else are you hiding? What other parts of you have been kept secret? Nothing. There's nothing else. Just this. He gestured helplessly toward the world around them. I wanted you to fall in love with the man I've become, not the man I was born to be. But you can't separate them, can you? She challenged, her voice gaining strength. You can't expect me to pretend none of it matters. I know it's messy. I know it hurts, he pleaded, stepping closer. But you and me? We can work through this. If you let me, if you're still willing to try. Sarah's shoulders slumped slightly, revealing the exhaustion of this emotional tug-of-war. Jack, I need time. I need to think about everything you've just said. I never signed up for this. I need to understand what it means for us. He could feel the walls of their connection beginning to crack, but he didn't know how to hold it together. Just don't walk away, he begged, nearly whispering. I need you to trust me. Give me a chance to prove that I'm the person you fell in love with, even if I've hidden part of myself. For the first time, he saw a glimmer of uncertainty pass behind her hurt. Trust. You're asking a lot from me right now, Jack. You can't rush something like that. What if I don't have time? He immediately regretted the desperation in his tone, realizing he was pushing too hard. I mean, what if I need to tell you what comes next? What do you mean? Sarah asked, tilting her head, confusion clouding her face again. Jack hesitated, all those thoughts coming to a head. There's something else I haven't shared. Something that might change everything for us. The world around them faded further, the laughter of the park slipping away as Sarah's attention focused solely on him. She looked so fragile and yet so fierce, her heart still caught between love and doubt. What is it? She demanded, her voice steady but holding a note of anxiety. His heart pounded, a thrill of fear coursing through him. He felt the weight of his next words, the gravity of the situation pulling at his chest. If he opened up now, would it bring them closer, or drive them apart forever? Jack took a deep breath, the moment crackling with potential, realizing how precarious it all felt. I need you to trust me with the truth because the truth is more complicated than you think, he said at last, his eyes locked onto hers, searching for that flicker of hope, that sign that she might still want to hear him out. But as he opened his mouth to continue, the noise of the park faded completely away, replaced by the roaring silence of his uncertainty. What would he reveal next? Would it destroy any chance they had left? The sense of impending change felt overwhelming, yet undeniably necessary. Jack, Sarah urged, her voice a gentle push back toward him. Please just tell me. His chest tightened as uncertainty tangled with the fear of what lay ahead. He knew one thing was certain: everything was about to change. Jack ran a hand through his hair, his mind racing with the weight of what he was about to say. The truth felt like a tightly coiled spring inside him, ready to snap free. He could see Sarah's face, the tension etched deeply in her brow, and in that moment, the park around them blurred into insignificance. She was all that mattered. I didn't just pretend to be someone else, he began, the words tumbling out. I ran away from everything. The wealth, the expectations, I didn't want any of it. I wanted to be free to find out who I actually am without the burden of my family's name. As the words settled between them like heavy stones, Sarah's expression shifted. Was it pity? Anger? He couldn't tell, but her eyes bore into him like twin searchlights, demanding the truth he kept hidden. Jack, you left it all behind. Why didn't you tell me this before? She asked, her voice shaking slightly now. Because I thought if I told you, you'd see me differently, like everyone else in my life. I wanted to hide from that. I wanted to be Jack, just Jack, the guy who loves music, who loves walking in the rain with you, who he hesitated, feeling the risk of each revelation. Who was terrified you wouldn't love the real me. A breeze rustled the leaves overhead, carrying a sense of roundabout solace, but it felt hollow. Jack held his breath, waiting for her response. He needed her to understand. But it backfired, he continued. The more I tried to create this version of who I thought you would love, the more I trapped myself in a lie. And as much as I wanted to keep you close, I started losing myself. That sounds so lonely, she said softly, her hardness cracking slightly like ice in the sun. You've been living a lie, and it wasn't just for a few weeks, it was years, Jack. He nodded, the guilt squeezing at his chest like a vice. I know. I see that now. I thought I could be happy just by running, but I learned the hard way. The joy I found in taxi driving, in meeting all kinds of people, it was real. But hiding from you? His voice broke ever so slightly, and he steeled himself against it. That was the darkest part. Tears glistened in her eyes now, and for the first time, he saw the shield she'd been holding up begin to tremble. The truth does hurt, she admitted, her gaze drifting away to the children once more, only this time they were a reminder of a future that felt uncertain. Maybe it's not about the truth hurting, but about real love, real trust, he said, hoping to bridge the gap between them. I need you to know that I've changed. I've learned that running from the truth only makes us lose ourselves more. I don't want to lose you, Sarah. I can't. Not like this. The words hung there, dense and fragile. Jack, I need to think. Her words came out as a breath, wavering like the wind. I'm scared of what this means for us. Just please don't shut me out, he urged, a wave of desperation crashing over him. I want to show you who I am now, the man who finally wants to stand tall and proud, not behind a mask. I will do whatever it takes to earn your trust back. Her lips trembled as she considered his plea, the push and pull of emotions playing across her face. Jack could barely breathe, it was as if her heart had become a puzzle he desperately wished to piece together, but as she struggled with her thoughts, the shadow of regret loomed large. I don't know if I can handle more surprises, she whispered, her voice shaky but alive with a tangled mix of hope and fear. The atmosphere was thick with unspoken possibilities. He reached for her hand, longing to feel the warmth of connection but uncertain if she'd let him. Sarah, whatever it takes, I'll wait, he promised, feeling the weight of uncertainty heavy on his heart. Just know that I'm here, ready to face everything together. As they stood on that precipice of a new beginning, he couldn't help but wonder, was their love worth all this turmoil? Would the truth set them free, or would it only lead them further apart? The world around them resumed, but Jack felt frozen, caught in this moment of infinite potential and dread. What awaited them down this path of truth? He closed his eyes, praying for the strength to navigate what was next. Jack opened his eyes, nervously scanning Sarah's face for any sign of what she was feeling. He searched for hope, but all he found was uncertainty reflected back at him. They stood silently as the sounds of laughter and play filled the park, a strange contrast to the heaviness that hung in the air between them. Sarah finally spoke, her voice barely above a whisper. I thought I knew you, Jack. The man I fell for seemed so genuine. How do I know this isn't just another layer of the mask? Her question struck him hard, like a blow he hadn't anticipated. He felt a surge of defensiveness mixed with desperation. I know I can't change the past, he said, his voice breaking. But I want to share the real me with you now. Do you even know who that is? I mean, you've been running from it for so long, she replied, biting her lip, eyes glistening with unshed tears. What if the man you discover is someone I can't love? Her words pierced through him like ice. He took a small step back, as if the weight of her question forced him to reconsider everything. The fear and doubt seeped into his heart, mingling with his desire to bridge the chasm between them. Let me show you. Let's take a trip, he blurted out, suddenly inspired. We can drive somewhere far away together. Just the two of us. I'll share everything, my dreams, my fears, the reality of what I've been through. Sarah regarded him with a mix of confusion and curiosity, her brow furrowed. And where would we go? I don't know, he admitted, shrugging slightly. But I promise to be completely honest with you. No more pretending, no more running. Just us. I'll even drive if it means we can face it together. The idea hung in the air like a freshly painted canvas, bright and full of potential. His heart raced with each beat, anticipating her response. I don't know, Jack. It seems extreme, she replied, crossing her arms as if to shield herself from his enthusiasm. What if it only complicates things further? He stepped a little closer, gently taking her hand in his. Maybe it's time for a leap. We can allow ourselves to be vulnerable. To explore not just the road, but us. I believe it could help us find clarity. Sprinkled with apprehension and curiosity, the thought of an open road pulling them together had a magnetic pull. Jack couldn't ignore it. All right, Sarah murmured finally, her voice softer now, though still uncertain. Let us say we do this, where would we even start? We can leave now, Jack said, a notice of determination igniting within him. Just grab a bag, something to make the trip feel real. I'll fill the car with fuel and snacks. A playlist of our favorite songs. We can take the long way, see the little places. Her expression softened, a flicker of adventure igniting behind her eyes. You really think this will solve everything? He squeezed her hand tighter, a smile forming amidst the nervous energy. I don't know. But taking a chance feels better than standing still. Sarah nodded, finally breaking into a small smile of her own, although it was still laced with doubt. Okay, you've convinced me, let us go. Let us find out together. As they started walking toward the car, a sense of budding hope radiated through Jack, warming the chill of anxiety. What felt like a journey of distance had morphed into a journey of the heart, yet, as they reached the parking lot, a chilling thought hit him. What if the truths they uncovered along the way threatened to rip them apart instead? Just then, a faint ringing broke through the air, his phone. As he fished it out of his pocket, he noticed the caller ID. It was his father. A wave of dread washed over him. Would this call turn their getaway into a storm they weren't ready to face? Answer it, Sarah urged, curiosity evident. Jack hesitated. Should he let this voice from his past intrude on their fragile moment, or protect what was unfolding between them? The choice loomed before him like an ominous fork in the road. Would he take the call and risk everything, or silence the past and dive into their future? Jack stared at the phone, its screen lighting up his anxious face as he weighed the decision. His father's name loomed large, a reminder of the life he'd left behind, a life filled with expectations and disappointment. Each ring felt like a reminder of the past he was trying to escape. Jack. Sarah's voice broke through his turmoil. What is going on? I don't know if I should answer this, he admitted, his heart pounding. What would his father want now? And why now, when he was finally trying to focus on the present? It might be important, she said gently, the concern in her voice cutting through the fog of his indecision. But if it's too much no, he interrupted, taking a deep breath. It's fine. I'll answer. As the fourth ring faded, he swiped to answer, bracing for the encounter. Dad? He said, attempting to sound composed. Jack. The voice crackled through the speaker, heavy with an urgency that unsettled him. We need to talk. Can you come home? His stomach twisted. Home. That was a word he had avoided like the plague. I can't right now, he replied, harshness creeping into his voice. I'm busy. Busy? With what? The challenge in his father's tone ignited an old fire within Jack, one he had tried hard to suppress. Chasing dreams that don't matter. Heat radiated through him, and he glanced at Sarah, who was watching him, her face a mix of support and concern. These dreams matter to me. Jack fired back, frustration lacing his words. Maybe you'll never understand that, but I do. I'm trying to build something real. Real? His father snorted. You think running away is building something? You're making a mistake, Jack. You'll regret it. A wave of shame mixed with anger washed over him. Maybe I'll regret not trying, he shot back, his voice steadying. He turned away, needing a moment of space. This isn't about you or what you want. It's about my life. Silence hummed on the other end, tension crackling like a charged storm waiting to break. Just when Jack thought the conversation would end, his father said, "I just want what's best for you." Jack squeezed the phone tightly, heart racing. That had always been his father's excuse, but behind it lay a constant shadow of manipulation. "I appreciate your concern. But I need to go," he replied, voice firm. He hung up, the click of the call ending echoing in the air between him and Sarah, who was waiting quietly, her expression guarded. "That was intense," Sarah said, taking a step closer. "Are you okay?" "Yeah." He exhaled slowly, a weight lifting slightly as he faced her. "That was my father. It's complicated." "And you wanted to avoid complications," she offered softly, searching his gaze for reassurance. "How do you feel? Honestly?" Jack ran a hand through his hair, feeling a rush of vulnerability. "I feel like I need this trip even more now. Like I need to figure out who I am outside of that world." Sarah's expression softened, her eyes shimmering with empathy. "Then let us not let this get in our way. We still have a road ahead of us, and we should make the most of it." As they both began to walk toward the car, a renewed sense of determination surged through Jack. He opened the door and gestured for her to get in. "Let us do this. Together." They slid into the car, leaving behind the weight of the call, but inside, the turmoil bubbled. What would they discover on the road? Would Jack's past follow them, or would they find their way to a brighter future? As they pulled out of the parking lot, uncertainty loomed, lingering like shadows over the bright open road before them. Jack still wondered, would this journey bring clarity or chaos? Did either of them truly know what they were stepping into? Jack turned the key in the ignition, and the car roared to life, drowning out his swirling thoughts. The road ahead stretched like an open canvas, and for the first time in a long while, he felt a flicker of hope fluttering in his chest. Beside him, Sarah was scrolling through playlists, her fingers dancing over the screen, trying to lift the weight that still clung to the air. "Okay, let us find something epic," she declared, inadvertently breaking the tension. Her smile was bright, infectious. Jack couldn't help but smile back. As they hit the main highway, the world opened up around them. Fields of green flanked the road, dotted with wildflowers, and the sky showcased an array of blues, fading into a soft, warm hue. But the beautiful scenery did little to quiet his inner turmoil. "What's next on our adventure?" Sarah asked, her eyes sparkling with excitement. Jack hesitated. The call with his dad loomed large in the back of his mind. "I don't know," he finally said, gripping the steering wheel tighter. "Maybe we can head to that national park we talked about." "Perfect. Just imagine the sunsets there," she replied, her voice laced with enthusiasm. "And maybe we can hike. Breathe some of that fresh air and forget about everything else." The idea of hiking, being surrounded by nature, felt liberating. Jack nodded, trying to match her energy. "Yeah. Nature sounds good. It'll help clear my head." They drove in silence for a stretch, the rhythmic sound of tires on the pavement offering a strange comfort. Jack allowed himself to breathe, each passing mile loosening the grip of his father's worries. But as the moments passed, doubt threaded back into his mind. What was he really running from? Jack. Sarah's voice broke the quiet again. "You seem distant. Is everything okay?" "I'm just thinking," he replied, glancing at her. "About what my dad said. About running away and mistakes, you know. Your dreams are not a mistake. They're legit, Jack. Don't let him define you," she urged, her sincerity spilling over. "Right," he breathed out. A shadow flickered in his chest. As much as he wanted to believe her words, could he really shake off the years of pressure? I guess I just have to keep reminding myself that this trip is about more than just escaping. And it will be if you let it, she reassured him. Think of it as a fresh start. A way to rewrite your story. No one but you gets to decide how that unfolds. A spark ignited inside him. She was right. This wasn't just about running from a life that felt forced upon him. It was about embracing something authentic, something that felt like him. The freedom of the road felt like a promise to find the real Jack, the one lost in the shadows. A car zoomed past, snapping Jack from his reverie. Next stop, adventure. He exclaimed, lifting the mood further, his voice reflecting newfound determination. Just then, a deep silence enveloped them as he spotted a hitchhiker on the side of the road, holding a sign that read help. The image hit him like a gut punch. He felt a strange pull, an urge to find out what this person's story was. Should he stop? Would it complicate things? "Jack. Are you okay?" Sarah's concerned inquiry drew him back. "What are you thinking?" In that moment, he realized that new journeys often came with unexpected turns, some of which could hold powerful revelations. "What if we stopped?" he suggested, a mix of excitement and fear flickering in his heart. "What? For them?" "Yeah. We could hear their story. Maybe help them out," he said, a surprising confidence strengthening his voice. Sarah looked skeptical but intrigued, glancing at the figure in the distance. "You think we should pick up a stranger?" "Why not?" Jack grinned. "This trip is all about adventure, right? Plus, it could teach us something." With a firm nod, he signaled to pull over, his heart racing. What were they about to uncover? What if this was a step into the unknown toward clarity or further chaos? As he pulled over, anxiety and eagerness tumbled within him. Would this be another complication, or would it be the breakthrough he desperately sought? Jack stopped the car, the engine humming softly as he turned to look at Sarah. Her brow furrowed, a mix of concern and curiosity etched on her face. For a brief moment, they sat in silence, the weight of the decision lingering in the air. "Are you sure about this?" she asked, her voice steady but cautious. "Yeah, I think so. What's the worst that can happen?" Jack replied, trying to sound more confident than he felt. He wasn't blind to the risks, but his gut told him this was the right thing to do. He opened the door and stepped out. The sun radiated warmth, contrasting with the cool breeze that rustled the wildflowers by the roadside. As he approached the hitchhiker, he took in the details: the worn backpack, the weary expression, and black-framed glasses perched on their nose. A local, he wondered, or someone just passing through? "Hey there," Jack called out, his tone friendly. The hitchhiker looked up, their eyes holding a mix of gratitude and hesitation. "You need a ride?" The person nodded slowly, anxious. "Yes, thank you." They slid their sign into their backpack and took a step forward. Jack gestured for them to join him, feeling a thrum of adrenaline. "Hop in." "Where are you headed?" he asked, trying to ease the initial awkwardness. "Just trying to get to the next town," the hitchhiker replied, glancing nervously back at Sarah, who remained in the car, her expression a mix of curiosity and worry. "Come on, it's all good," Jack assured them. "This is my friend, Sarah." As the hitchhiker climbed in, Jack's heart raced. Had he just made a choice that embodied his desire to break free from expectations? They exchanged names: Leo, short and simple. "Thanks for stopping," Leo said, adjusting themselves in the seat. "Not many people do." "Glad to help." "What's your story?" Jack asked, genuinely interested. As he shifted back into gear and pulled onto the highway, Leo hesitated for a moment, studying the scenery whizzing past. "I'm just trying to get back home. I've been away for a while, dealing with some stuff," Leo replied, their voice low. Jack nodded, sensing the weight behind the words. "Family issues?" "Something like that," Leo admitted, a flicker of pain crossing their face. The air felt charged with unspoken truths. The miles passed, and the conversation flowed. Leo shared snippets of their life, a mixture of dreams and disappointments. Jack found himself relating to the struggles, the push and pull of familial expectations. He glanced at Sarah, who was absorbing every word, her eyes softening in empathy. There was something intimate about the moment, an invisible thread connecting them all as they drove down the endless road. "What about you?" Leo asked suddenly, turning the spotlight onto Jack. "What's your story?" Jack felt his throat tighten. He glanced at Sarah again, who encouraged him with a reassuring smile. "I'm trying to figure things out, honestly. Just left a life that didn't feel like mine." "Wow, that takes guts." Leo nodded. "So, where are you headed?" "Wherever," Jack said with a hint of a laugh, then turned serious. "Searching for something more." The air was thick with empathy, each of them seeking a breakthrough in their own messy life narratives. In that pivotal moment, Jack realized that they were united not just by circumstance but a quest for understanding and acceptance. It was all so unreal, yet it felt right that as they neared the next town, a sense of anticipation mingled with unease. Would this journey reveal answers, or would it lead them down a darker path? What if we uncover more than expected? Sarah mused, leaning forward. Jack glanced at Leo, who smiled warmly, a flicker of hope in an uncertain world. "Whatever happens next. I'm ready for it," he admitted, a steely resolve coursing through him. Just as they entered the town, a large banner across the road caught Jack's eye, "Welcome to Springside. Annual festival today." A spark lit up inside him, the promise of new adventures bubbling to the surface. "What do you say we check it out?" Jack proposed, exhilaration dancing in his voice. Leo grinned. "I'm in." But as they parked, uncertainty crept in. Would this festival bring joy or stir deeper questions? And what lay beneath their willingness to dive into the unknown together? As the trio stepped out of the car, the festive sounds of Springside filled the air, laughter, music, and the tantalizing aroma of freshly fried funnel cakes wafting from nearby stalls. For the first time in a while, Jack felt a sense of lightness. He turned to Sarah and raised an eyebrow. "Ready for an adventure?" Her eyes sparkled as she nodded, excitement bubbling beneath the surface. "Let us explore," she replied, her earlier reservations melting away. Jack led the way, with Sarah and Leo flanking him, their spirits brightening with each step towards the festival grounds. Colorful banners fluttered in the light breeze, and children ran past, faces painted like superheroes or animals, joy radiating from them like sunshine. For today, the mundane pressures of life faded into the background, and the promise of fun beckoned like an open invitation. "What should we do first?" Sarah asked, scanning the myriad of activities. "How about we start with some games?" Leo suggested, pointing toward a booth with ringing bells and smiling faces. "I could use some friendly competition." They gravitated towards the game stalls, laughter spilling around them as they took turns trying to knock down cans and win prizes. Jack's competitive spirit ignited, but it was the sound of Sarah's laughter that sparked joy in his heart. Each chuckle felt like a warm hug, reminding him of moments from their past before life had dulled the edges of their joys. As the sun dipped lower in the sky, painting the world in shades of orange and purple, they found themselves at the center of the festival, where a stage was set for the evening's performances. Musicians began to tune their instruments, the atmosphere electric with anticipation. Jack looked over at Sarah, who had that familiar gleam in her eyes. "What do you think? Should we stay for a bit?" "Absolutely!" she exclaimed. They spent the next hour lost in music and laughter, sharing stories and memories, letting the rhythm of the band pull them together. Here, amidst this celebration, Jack felt free, as if the chains of expectation that had clung to him for so long were being dissolved in the sound of the crowd's cheer. As the headliner took the stage, the ambience shifted. The crowd's energy surged, igniting a powerful force that swept through Jack. He turned to share the moment with Sarah, only to find her gazing at him with an intensity that made his heart race. "Jack," she said, her voice barely audible over the music, "I can see you." Her words struck him deep. In that moment, he realized the veil he had worn, his facade of the humble taxi driver was slipping away. This was who he was meant to be. He wasn't just someone hiding behind a mask, he was a man ready to embrace the truth, the love, and the life he wanted, with Sarah standing beside him. "I see you too, Sarah," he replied, a genuine smile spreading across his face. "And I want to explore every bit of you, every part of us." With those words, an invisible connection pulsed between them. In that fleeting moment, surrounded by the warmth of the festival and the music sounding like an anthem of new beginnings, Jack felt the weight of his fears lift. He was ready to face whatever came next, not alone, but with Sarah and Leo, embarking on this journey into truth, connection, and authentic love. As the band played their final song, Jack took Sarah's hand, intertwining their fingers, feeling the warmth of her hope mingle with his resolved spirit. "Let us make a pact right here, right now," he said, gazing into her eyes. "No more secrets." Sarah's smile radiated joy. "No more secrets." Leo chimed in, "I'm in too. Whatever comes, we tackle it together." With that, they formed a bond, a trio united not by their pasts or fears but by shared dreams and the open road ahead. They all looked toward the horizon, knowing these adventures were merely the beginning. The festival faded behind them as they stepped back to their car, invigorated and connected. The journey had transformed Jack, but it was just as much about their shared journey as it was about himself. He drove forward, feeling lighter, unburdened. As the first stars appeared in the vast darkening sky, he whispered a promise to the universe. This was it. The beginning of everything. His heart swelled with a mixture of excitement and nerves as they laughed and chatted, their voices blending into the soft sounds of the night. They had unearthed something precious, the joy of connection, the power of honesty. What awaited them next, they couldn't yet envision, but one thing was certain, together, they would face it all. Now it's your turn. You need to subscribe immediately to the channel to not miss the next exclusive stories that will inspire you. Leave a like now to feed the algorithm and boost our community. Comment your reactions and feelings about this ending, let's hear it, and don't wait not even one more second to share this video with at least 5 friends who need to see this transformation and embark on their own journeys of self-discovery. Your support makes all the difference, so let us grow this community together.